Have a good write-in. Give your write-in candidate and get on it. Okay. All right. So let's call the meeting to order. Do we have any public comment? No. Okay. Moving on. We have approval of minutes from February 24th. We'll need a motion in a second.
So moved.
They're seconded.
Okay. Are you okay? I don't see Trevor. Otis is here. He's all set. Oh, our note taker. No, he's doing it remotely.
Oh, he is. Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep. Sorry, I thought you were on that email. Sorry. No, he's unavailable, so he's doing it
Perfect.
remotely.
That's fine.
Yep. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any discussion? Not hearing any. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, so we have some warrants. We have payroll warrant 119.
I move we accept payroll warrant 119.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Dan, are you?
Aye.
Okay. Then we have accounts payable 1030.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And the secondary warrant 1114.
I move we accept warrant 1114.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Caitlin, gifts or grants?
No gifts or grants.
Great. Moving on to report of the Gil Montague representative. We're still looking for a representative, so if anybody is still interested in that position, please contact Brian Smith at the town hall. Moving on to the report of the Franklin Tech representative.
Good evening.
Hi.
So the biggest news is that Superintendent Martin is retiring at the end of June. And a search committee has been formed. It'll be 4 school committee members, 2 staff, 1 academic and 1 vocational, the business manager, and then a parent who will be an ex officiato. The hope is that we might have somebody in place before Superintendent Martin retires, but that's our hope. So there's a bigger pool of vocational superintendents than there is for regular education superintendents. So the other thing is there's staff cuts because basically due to the health care costs. They did cut the full-time librarian, but the library will be staffed with a certified librarian 2 periods a day. And at our last school committee meeting, the school committee in general asked if there was some way to shift some savings around with Superintendent Martin retiring, that they perhaps hire back the librarian at part-time or full-time if possible. They were exploring the possibilities. When people retire, there are separation costs involved, and that will eat at the pool of money that we have for emergencies. The lottery, for the first time for selection, went relatively well. There are 169 confirmed students that have said yes. There are still 66 on the wait list for the 19 town districts, and the next 30 have been sent out. And once that's all done, there are still 25 students that are out of district that are on the wait list. It doesn't look good that they'll be able to come to Franklin Tech. Out of district is usually those towns that declined to join the district at the time that it was formed. Ashfield, Plainfield, Rowe, Charlemont, I think, is one of them as well. So those are considered out-of-district students. The other important thing is that the vote for the new school will be October 6th. It is a single-day voting for all 19-member towns, and the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be a ballot, and it's a simple majority over. It doesn't need to pass in all the communities. It's just about the numbers. So, any questions?
Is that the number voting? majority of the number voting or the majority?
It's just a simple majority. So if you get 10,000 votes and it's, 5,000 for yes and 499, then it still passes, a simple majority.
Do you know if all of the students from Erving that wanted to attend were able to get in?
No, they were not. There were, I think there were 7, pretty sure 7 applications. We had 5 slots available to Erving, and then there were 2 on the wait list. Now, whether or not they went into the other wait list and are now accepted, I don't know. So the way that the lottery worked is that each community has a certain number of students that were allowed at the beginning of the agreement. So what happens is the applications went in and then they got divided into their communities. And then whatever slot, spaces were left from there, that's where, so it's like a lottery within a lottery. And then after those were all filled, then the other remaining ones got, it still went town to town until the bigger communities were full, and then they would open them up to everybody, but yeah.
The majority of total voters across the district or majority per town?
Majority across the district.
And then I have a question of the new lottery system. Is it per year coming in, or is it per the school? Like upcoming 9th graders, there's 7 of them or 5 slots available, but last year there was only 2 Erving students. Do we get to make up that difference, or is it per year?
We have a certain number for the whole school.
Nice.
I want to say our number's like 15. It's not very big. We're a small community. I can get back to you on it. But so if we had a large number of students graduating, then our number would be bigger for the incoming class. Erving's number has fluctuated through the years. I want to say that last year we had 30, and then this year we only had 20, So that's why the budget went down overall for the tech school for Erving's portion, because there were less students. So yeah. Orange, Montague, and Greenfield have the highest number of kids that are allowed to go because of their population.
About vocational technical schools is that to get a certificate of occupation for their vocation, they don't allow after junior year. So you can't, they don't allow new students after junior year, so you can't make up that difference with seniors.
Correct. Yeah, but I meant like,
Right.
if,
Yeah.
like she said, 20
Sophomores,
seniors
yeah,
left, then
right.
sophomores and juniors we could
Right.
accept more.
Yeah.
And they do have some plans to tweak the lottery that they did this year. It is available online if you want to go onto their website. You can actually see they filmed it and all that. But there was a slight lag in the company that they used in posting the results online, and there was some confusion on that. But it was our first year. They're going to work on it a little bit more. But, okay.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so at this point, we're going to rearrange our agenda slightly. We're going to call up the new business, the discussion and possible vote on the accepting the truck from the town. And we're doing that simply because Glenn is here from the highway department and we want to allow him an opportunity to speak. So we are going to rearrange our agenda, bring that forward, and then after that we're also going to bring forward the director of finance and operations report. Again, Caitlin needs to be at another meeting, so to accommodate for those 2 things we're going to rearrange our agenda slightly. So let's go ahead and move to that discussion. Beth, you want to start us off?
Yes, this is a 2016 F-350 truck that is something that says what appears to be 9 feet 6 V plow. And as a non-truck person, I have no idea what that is. That's why.
Why don't we go right to him?
So,
But if you could just give us the background
Yep.
of why we're even talking about this, just for everybody at home, and
so
then we'll get into
we have had an exceptionally snowy winter, and we have been using the snow blowers to snow blow, as well as asking our maintenance people to use their own materials to do some plowing and whatnot and snow removal. We do have a truck right now, or tractor. So we have a tractor that has extended beyond its life expectancy. And so we're struggling with that. And so we were initially asking for a capital planning to replace that, and then the truck became an option. This would save us a considerable amount of money over buying something new, and would allow us to fulfill the needs that we have at a much better cost.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
and now someone with way more knowledge about trucks can assist us.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So yeah, it's a 2016 F-350. We of course obviously bought the truck new, and last year I had that truck replaced because it failed inspection for safety reasons. The bed frame rails themselves had rotted out. The frame of the truck itself is not rotted out, but because it's a structural part of the body, they failed that. The front end suspension components has its typical wear use from carrying a plow for 9 years, and I have an estimate for that. So as for a town highway vehicle, it was beyond its useful life also. When I was asking and supporting the new tractor for the school, because the one that is here, it is small. It's done a great job for the years, but they've had some big repairs in it also. So I was advocating for a new tractor, which was about $64,000. Yep, a lot of money for something that's going to get minimal use other than just plowing in the wintertime. So then we thought about the truck, because Franklin County Solid Waste was interested in it. They ended up with our last surplus truck. It ended up being too big of a truck for them and an expense for what they had for a budget. So it was asked to the school, is this something you'd be interested in? So I have repair cost for the suspension and steering components. I have a replacement cost for an aluminum flatbed body for it, and a replacement plow. The reason why there's replacement plow price on here is because that V plow we would still like to use, but it's matched to that truck. So I would let that V plow go with the truck for the school, but I'd be asking the school committee to replace the working V plow so we could still have it in our fleet.
So you have those numbers.
So I have the numbers.
Yep.
So the mechanical repair costs are $54,8112. 5,481. Yep. And that's a worst case cost. They could get into it and find some of the parts are not needed, but I wanted worst case so they're not coming back and, oh my God, it's another $1,000, $1,500. So that's the front end work. Okay. Yep. The replacement body, it's an aluminum flatbed body. It has a cab guard to protect the rear window, so nothing could slide through it. There's a vendor down in Northampton. It's $3,200. Depending on if you all approve this and what time of the season this goes through, we're willing to swap the bodies over and save the school committee and the school about $1,500. If we're already into our spring season of work, then it's going to have to probably be hired out to be put on.
So if you were to do the work, you said $1,500. Is that subtracted out of the 32, or is that on top of the 32?
No, so the 3,200 is the cash and carry of the body. Right. If they were to put it on, it would be an additional $1,500.
Okay.
But to buy this, it comes with the lights, the mounting hardware, everything for it.
Okay.
And we would go down and pick it up. To replace the V plow is $8,060. $8,860.
Okay.
The total is
It's around 18,000.
And the plow that we're getting, is that also a 10-year-old plow?
So the plow itself is. The cutting edges on it are brand new. The plow side wiring on it is brand new. And it was just serviced.
So so we would be inheriting a 10-year-old plow, and we would be replacing it with a brand new plow.
Yep. If you would like the brand new plow, then I would ask that the school committee pay to rewire the plow, the 10-year-old plow, for us to keep, which is probably around $1,000 by the time they do all the wiring and the headlight changeover.
Okay.
And this is as opposed to capital outlay that we had talked about of,
A little over 60 grand.
And I would still suggest that the school keep the track, because he can use it to move snow, which the truck is not going to do. The truck is just going to plow it from one end to the other. He's going to do it a lot quicker with the truck than the tractor, but the tractor, for not being used every storm, I still think it's a valuable asset to hold on to. May need to put tires on it, before next winter, but I think the tractor should probably still be held on to.
And so when it failed inspection, those were the only things that were
Yes.
shown to be failed?
Yep.
And has it been gone over at all otherwise, or no?
As in what?
Like mechanically speaking, like we
Oh, yes,
identified
it's-
these problems, but are there, has it gone and had anything else looked at? Are we anticipating anything else that we would need to be repairing?
No,
on this
it's always
thing?
been serviced on a regular basis. The tires were new last year. I believe we put brakes on it. A lot of work was done right before it went to surplus, when it went through inspection and found out. The transmission has been serviced, I believe, a year, maybe 2 ago. Shocks, I think, a couple years ago. So no, mechanically wise, running wise, transmission wise, it's still a very strong truck.
So am I understanding this right? That we're beginning a vehicle that's not up to service for regular town use all over the roads everywhere, or would certainly fit the needs that we have here at the school?
Yeah, because of the repair cost for it, highway department couldn't justify the repairs for an everyday used vehicle. Again, it could be used in the summertime around here. Right now, Eric, he's bringing his own truck down to grab fuel, gas and diesel for the equipment here. You're paying a vendor to come pick up your equipment to go be serviced. We have a trailer that would be accessible, for Eric. He can haul it to the vendors to be serviced. So yeah, but it'll be still a lot less use at the school than it would be for us.
We're in exchange for not spending 60,000 or so, we're spending around 20,
Correct.
and there'll be other savings also, things like taking stuff to get your fuel or taking our equipment elsewhere. We don't have to pay somebody else to do.
Correct.
Vehicle, you never know what's going to happen, but we know the people we're buying it from.
Exactly. And like I say, the service records are readily available. I could have service records printed out for you since day one.
do we have a place to store it here?
So there's probably room over by the kitchen area, over by the Connex boxes. It could probably be stored out of the way.
But it wouldn't be undercover.
No.
We don't have a cover, no.
No. And it would not fit in your shed either. But in all honesty, it hasn't been undercover in the last year since it was replaced either.
So the gas and the insurance, just like any town vehicle, would be covered by the town. So that wouldn't be our. Actually, well, let me double check on the gas, but I think right is all.
Yeah, it's all covered.
Covered, right?
Yep.
Certainly the insurance for sure, I know, is covered by the town. So those wouldn't be costs that we would have to carry. So we would be obviously looking at these repairs, but then ongoing repairs we would have to take care of, similar to the van we already own. Like we have to keep that running.
So for the sake of procedure, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the truck and the costs as stated to us so far. Okay.
Let's second that.
Okay. For discussion purposes, Caitlin, have you had a chance to look and see if these costs will be able to be covered in our current
Operating.
budget?
This is the first information I'm hearing about it, so I'll probably need some time to go back and review before I can have analysis or an opinion on it.
Okay. Is it possible that you could, I mean, we're in March now, so we're only talking a few more months left in our budget cycle. Do you have a general sense of where we're at with our budget that you could?
I do, but we also have some situations in flux right now with transportation and with some special education pieces that it would be worth taking more time to look at what these expenses will be and what we're going to be facing in the next couple months. So I can't make a decision on it. I can't make an opinion on it right now.
But we are looking at, if we don't do this, we are going to have to go to the town for the capital expense of replacing the tractor.
We've done that. So we have submitted it to the capital planning committee, the town. So they were planning for the tractor.
What we're looking at here is, are we going to be able to take it out of this year's regular budget, or are we going to go to town and town meeting and say, with the capital expenditure, we're not going to spend this much, but we're going to spend this much?
But what if this was a split?
Oh, that's what I was just about to say. We
Because
could.
we don't need to plow. We're done with snow.
Oh, you take it up for next week.
But we're not hurting for that plow replacement for the
Yeah.
rest of the season. So if the plow was done in the next fiscal year, but the truck repairs and get it inspected, get it put back together in useful form, was done in this. So you're still talking like 9,000 versus the 18.
Even I would say even going a little bit further than that is we could do some of the repairs in this fiscal year and some of the repairs in the next fiscal year, which is why I was trying to understand
Yeah.
from you.
And in fairness
Where
to
our
Kate,
budget-
then was a miscommunication with Beth and I that you didn't know. So I feel badly that you were put on the hot seat. And I appreciate you saying I'm not going to commit because I'm hearing about it right now. That was a miscommunication on our end. To Caitlin.
I'm less concerned about that. I would say the priority would be getting the body on, because you're saying you could do that before your spring busy season. So from my perspective, that would be a priority, because that would save $1,500. And then even if we had to wait on some of the mechanical or replacing the plow or whatever the other steps are, to July 2nd, when our new fiscal year or something along that line, I think it's doable. So we have a motion and a second. Oh, go
I
ahead.
have a discussion question / she's not here to ask. Eric / custodian position would be open for running a plow truck, using a plow truck versus. Okay.
Actually very excited about it.
Perfect.
Yes.
And I'm sure most people would, especially if they're used to driving a tractor around. It's not much different. And then my other question was, you've already priced out the repair. Where would that be getting sent out to?
So right now, Rose Ledge Companies in town does all our service.
And then I did mark the discussion, mark down the discussion of if we waited on your plow, that's fine. It would
Yes.
save us $88 for this year, bringing our total this year to about 10 minus that 1,500 if we can get it in time. So 9-ish thousand for this year and 9,000 for next year. Okay, thank you. That was all my discussion questions.
And that, again, the other 9,000 for the plow, as long as it's by next November. Or this November.
So I think this is a really great opportunity for us to reuse a piece of equipment that we have in town, rather than going to the town and asking for $60,000 more, to your point.
Right.
So I think that it's a nice partnership that we can have with the highway department. I think this is also a good opportunity for us to try this out. and see if this is useful to us as a school to have this sort of truck function. And if it is, then potentially in the future we could look to, upgrade or, find something that fits our needs a little bit more. But like, this is a good like entry level, like see if this is useful to us. Give this a trial run. I am a little leery about getting, older equipment, but it sounds like it was, kept up. A 10-year-old vehicle is a 10-year-old vehicle. But I think, fiscally, I think this is the right way to go. So that would be,
So what do we
my
have to
preference.
vote on?
I think monetary
tonight.
intelligence.
We have to vote on accepting this from the
Town, so-
from the highway department, so they know where the
And
where the
then,
truck is going.
then we will vote on finances at a future time when we know what we've got available and so on. But we're committing ourselves to by
Accepting
next year, paying for everything that you've brought before us.
Either this year or next fiscal
Yeah,
year.
out of
yes.
either
Or
this
splitting
year's
it.
budget or next year's budget.
I think what yes, I mean the only thing we're truly on the hook for is replacing the plow with the highway department. If we get this thing and then decide to do something different with it, that's our prerogative. But at least we're committing to replacing the plow if we accept this truck.
Yep. Okay.
What we do with it past that is up to us.
So can we vote?
If no one else has any questions or comments or discussion points, we can. How are we feeling?
No,
Good? We're all looking at you. You're so quiet.
No, financially for taxpayers, it seems like a great thing to do. And we're in the budget process, as you all know. And there's somewhat of a shortfall, so if you can save 40 or 50 grand here or there, it's certainly the way to go. And it also seems like a wise thing to do, again, because we know who we're buying it from, not just some unknown.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, so we can vote as soon as we're ready. I just want to make sure everybody's had their chance to say anything that they want to say about it. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so all in favor of accepting the truck from the Town of Erving Highway Department?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's everybody. Thank you. All right, thank you so much for coming and giving us that information.
Yeah, like I say, just let me know if there's anything else I can do. Like I say, if it works out that's a split fiscal year, you just let me know what your next steps are and we'll make it happen.
Thank you for the
All right?
truck.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks. Okay, so again, just as a reminder, we're also adjusting our agenda to allow Caitlin to give her report. So, when you're ready.
Sure. So first I have the Excel sheets with the manual encumbrances, kind of what I'm able to kind of put in there and have a projection of what money we have left for the remainder of the year. For Erving Elementary, that is $134,993.30. So that is not including salaries are all encumbered. Most of our utilities are encumbered, but it doesn't include any of our supply lines, any of our, if we have any needs that are extra for transportation or special education, which pop up. And most of it I don't encumber because I don't know what we're going to face for the rest of the year. It's a pretty comfortable number to be at this point, but as we do try to keep our budget to match what our expenditures need, for the year, we've kind of kept our percentages low the last couple of years. We just do have to be mindful of there's not just always money left. In previous years, we've been able to have a good cushion at the end of the year. And we're trying to reduce that. We're trying to only budget for what our actually needs are. So, but this year is looking pretty on target and pretty similar to our other school districts in our union. So, we're not looking at having a huge amount left over, but we're also not looking at having a deficit at the end. For the secondary budget, that one does not have any manual encumbrances because I forgot that was a tab on here. But that one is also, we don't have a lot of big things that come up unexpectedly, but with what our expenditures look like, we will have a little bit at the end of the year, but we have also been able to wind down that budget to meet what the tuition rates are, which is our most of our budget in that area. And the budget has not changed since we're in March, so January, where we did the preliminary adoption. And so we had the budget hearing in February at the last meeting. And so I can review the budget if you'd like, but it has not changed since then. It is a 1.54% increase for the elementary school budget and a 4.8% increase for the secondary budget.
So this is where we are going to have to formally do our final vote on this budget so it can go forward and be prepared for the town meeting. So if anybody does have any other questions, this is our kind of our last opportunity to ask them before making that vote.
In the secondary, if you know that 5 ninth graders are coming out of Gil Montague and going over to the tech school, did you make that adjustment? I know you take all the 6th graders from here to go over to Gil Montague, but I was wondering if you made the adjustment, if you could communicate. I was thinking about the numbers. I know that there is a shortfall at the town level, so, you know, if those 5 or whatever the number is that have already committed to go to tech were taken out of the overall secondary budget for tuition.
No, since that's pretty new information, but we do follow trends, so we don't account for every student who's here because we know there will be some that go to other districts.
But if you,
But the exact number is not.
Right. And I understand that in a normal year that would be fine, but we're tight on the town side a lot. So I didn't know if there was a way. If you have to vote for the final number tonight, that's fine. But just to keep that in mind, the number could be tweaked a little down the line if you know for sure.
I think it's a good thing to be, you know, keeping in the back of our head, but I also will say that we should be cautious in doing that too, because just because those 5 kids are accepted doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to go. And if they don't, and we've already made that adjustment to our budget, then we're going to have to go back and, you know, go back the other way. So I'd rather be slightly over and come back and be happy that we, you know, don't have that. I mean, we're going to pay for them on the tech school side, and so it's not.
Well, you won't pay for them. The tech school budget is outside of the secondary budget. It's a separate line item in the warrant article. So,
Right, but if you're talking about town money, I mean, the
I
money is going to be spent if one way or the other.
I was looking at it from the point of view that it would allow for more funds to be accounted for at the town level overall. If you, I don't know what tuition is.
Yeah.
Is it 10 or 20? I mean, if you're talking that's $50,000. If you're taking $10,000, I'm just using a round number.
Right.
You're talking $50,000 in a reduction in a budget that could be used on the other end. That's all I was.
Yeah.
You know, in other years it hasn't been an issue, right? It doesn't matter that there's a little bit of a cushion. It's just that this year, like every other community, is feeling the squeeze from the healthcare accelerated costs that, you know, it's just.
Well, last year the budget that we voted on and brought to the town, they actually reduced by quite a bit.
Yes. Yes.
And so this one is taking that number, which we're much tighter on than in previous years, and looking at, you know, we don't account for every kid that's going to be at Gil Montague. Whether it was 5 exactly, I don't know, because I just look back to what the calculations were. But if the town feels that the numbers are more concrete and they're not going to have as many students, then they can always reduce our budget.
I wasn't looking for any confrontation on the town meeting floor.
Oh, no.
I was
Yeah.
just aware of the fact that funding is a little tight overall.
Yeah, I understand, because I mean we have 3 municipal districts that don't have the health insurance, you know, in our budget, and we have 1 regional, and is the budget that we are we understand that what the towns are facing that do carry the insurances. There is not. We think this is an accurate projection of where the students that are in 6th grade are going for next year. And we usually, the town doesn't reduce it on the town floor. They prepare that number and put it on the warrant after they get it from us. And so
I'm familiar. I just,
Yeah.
it can be reduced on town meeting floor. We don't like to, but It can be decreased and increased on town meeting.
Yeah.
We're just wondering if that number was.
I just found that over time, the numbers change, but the process is better than it has ever been. It took years, literally, Jackie's aware, that school committees, finance committees, select boards, all at each other's throats sometimes. It's not the case. We're functioning as a team, as we all should be. We're asking for what we believe we need. Good to end up at the end with a little bit of money, not have a deficit. We're not asking for a bunch of things that, well, maybe, what if, or you end up at the end of the year, you got $400,000 left over that could have been spent somewhere else. But if we get toward the end of the year and we need something, everyone else on the team understands if we need it, we'll come back and ask for it and find some way to get what we have to get. Good, well-oiled, Swiss watch working team. So that the process is good.
Yeah, I agree.
To push the discussion along, since I said I think it was good enough last time, I'm going to say I move we accept this budget as it stands at the moment.
Okay, so we'll vote the elementary and then the secondary, just separately.
Okay, I move we accept the elementary budget for.
Do I need to second that again?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the elementary budget. And just for clarity, so that's $3,870,000, $3,870,518. Correct, Caitlin?
Yes.
Just so I make sure I'm okay. Any other discussion?
I think it's
Sorry.
amazing that we're keeping it at 1.5, given COLA and the amount that you guys have put into this, all three of you. I do have to say, very conservative. That's my only comment. I think
Great.
they did great.
All right. So with that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. And then we have our secondary budget.
I move that we accept the secondary budget as proposed.
So again, just for clarity, that's my computer
It
cooperates.
is
What?
$1,350,326 requested budget.
Excellent.
Second that?
You're seconding it? Great. Okay. Any further discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right. So they have both passed. We can move that forward to the town and let them know. Caitlin, is that you that does that?
Yep, I can let them know.
Okay. Perfect. And is there anything else for your report?
That's it.
The only, I do have one request. If you could send it to us, but also have it for our next couple of meetings. If on the, spreadsheet where you show kind of what we've spent so far this current year, whatever you refer to it as, if you could show us the percentage of remaining, I know you have the dollar figure, but what is that compared to the beginning, just so I don't have to do the math. So are
Okay.
we,
Yeah, I can do it right
100%
now.
spent on that? Are we 50% spent on that sort of thing? So if you could include that column, send that to us in the interim, and then going
Sure.
forward, just have that.
Okay, I can do
Thank
that.
you. All right. So you said you were all set.
I am.
Okay. Perfect.
Have fun with New Salem.
I think I want to do right now, though. Okay, I'll wait.
All right. So at this point, we are going to go back
Thank you.
to our kind of regularly scheduled agenda, which would be the Collaborative for Educational Services update or report. Sorry. Do you have a?
Yeah, we met last week. Again, just going over, we're working on hiring an interim executive director in this time frame before Dr. Patricia Bonner comes on as the acting executive director July 1st. That's kind of
Permanent.
where we're at.
Okay. All right. Do we have a regionalization update?
No, they're meeting right now.
Okay. All right. So we will know something next time.
Yes.
Capital Planning Committee update. I don't think you've met the planning.
We
capital
haven't met
We
since
have
last
not
time.
met. We are
I didn't think so.
scheduling a meeting. I know Robin reached out to try to,
I think
just so that we're touching base before town meeting and making sure we've updated around if there's a change with the truck and all of those things.
Yeah. So can we contact? So when did you say that meeting was going to be?
She just reached out, I believe, to Dan, who's on the cabinet.
If-
Dan
if,
and Mark, right?
Yep.
Hopefully it's April 3rd. That's the only one she suggested that I could make.
Okay.
But
Can you just send them?
April 3rd is the only day of the 3 I can attend. Yep.
Okay, just because that's 2 weeks from now, and I would like them to know the plan with the truck so that they can kind of take that
I'll
on.
have Caitlin reach out when she's doing the updates for the budget. Let them know.
Okay, good. I just 2 weeks is a long time for them to wait for that answer.
Yep.
Okay, so now we are moving back to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Well, you have your report, and I'm trying to be timely.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Can I? By the way,
Yeah, we
there's no
can't-
access for that.
Can't access it.
Oh my goodness.
I would like to suggest. I'm sorry. While you're doing that, that we think about, and I think we've had this discussion, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. That when we have like the superintendent's report and the director of finance, that the director of finance is a little bit different, but like the superintendent picks out the most kind of the highlights of the report, and then we can on our own be reading through the whole report. So she doesn't have to word for word give the whole report, just to kind of keep things moving along. Does everybody feel comfortable with that?
I've always thought that was expected, so
Okay.
I tried to review that before meetings.
Yeah,
anyways.
and I as well, but I don't know that we've ever had that conversation here. And again, maybe we have, and I'm just not remembering it. But
And that
just
way
so
the
everybody
meeting
has the
will be
same
shorter.
expectations.
And
Same.
I apologize. I just updated the access. It
Okay.
defaulted to restricted, so I apologize.
I have it. It's in
You have it was
Yeah.
in your packet.
It is in our packet. You're right.
Just a couple of things to highlight. We have had, as you all know, we are very concerned about our incoming kindergarten class and the size that will be. I'm sure I'm not making any friends in the area, the local towns around us, as we have been advertising for school choice openings, and we are up to 8 kindergarten students in progress. Now, not all are fully enrolled, but they have reached out, gotten the paperwork, started that process. So that is a lot different than the 2 we were at shortly ago. So 8, although a small cohort, and we're still have openings, is a cohort at least. So that's an important update to keep you up to date with. I do want to give a shout out to Erving Elementary hosted the MCBA Book Award Party. That is all of the union schools, and they sort of rotate between each school. 4th through 6th graders who have read 5 books on the award list are able to come. It is a tremendous amount of work. The librarians at each of the schools do the bulk of it, but it's a lot of work for the school that has to host it, right? And they get to then take a 3-year hiatus until the next time. But there were 121 students here for that event, and to put it in perspective, that's more than came to school here that day. So it was incredibly well run. There was a lot of staff across the union, but it's more work for the building staff, right? Because they're getting things ready in advance. We had the custodians doing extra work, the cafeteria. So it was really so well received, and a big shout out around that. And there's nothing really pressing. We had joint supervisory yesterday, where we got some updates on sort of the state of the union and how things are going. And everything else I think can be read in the report. But those were the highlights that are specifically, relevant to this school community regarding our incoming kindergartners and our recent hosting of a big event.
Any questions?
No questions.
Alrighty. Okay, so now we're getting to the principal's report.
Great. All right. So, time for our March report. This is a very photograph-dense report. We are now at 117 students. Each day we have a few more kids who are joining us, which is great. We have 9 friends in our 3-year-old program. That's sort of how we picked up a couple more kids. So we're very excited by that. This picture here is one of the trials of our food tasting program in pre-K. They very bravely tried the oranges and the tangelos, both of which went over very well with the pre-kindergarten friends. The grapefruit in grade K did not go over as well. Just as an FYI.
I agree.
The lime, however, was very popular in kindergarten. Our MCBA library night, we did some dissection of pickles, which was really popular. We had a lot of minute to win it activities. The kids really enjoyed it. So I wanted to share some of our Erving students who were there that evening and participated. Happy they loved it. It was a great Friday night.
Oh.
Yes.
You
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes.
ever heard of like a pickle? Never mind.
Oh.
Never mind.
We had our return of the theater program. So this is some pictures of our last dress rehearsal and kind of getting ourselves ready to go on Friday, the 13th. Friday evening, we had our first performance. It was tremendous. The kids, if you were here, you would hear them, once the curtains finally closed, they erupted in a level of joy that was so fun to be backstage to see. They were bouncing around, hugging each other, very proud of themselves. So I was really excited. We had 41 students that engaged in some capacity, either on stage, which was 25 of them, or as a part of the set design and crew and costume design. This was truly the vision of our students. We had a student stage manager who helped block out all of it and create where the characters moved, and help the kids to understand how to say their lines with expression. We had two co-leads who did all the vision regarding costuming and stage props. So it was really wonderful to have this be such a student-driven experience. I will share that I stopped counting at 220 visitors.
It was standing room only.
Yes,
It was standing room by a lot only.
We had run out of chairs, and we had 220 people that were there. Actually more, and I just stopped at that point. So we had really a wonderful experience. I was very excited for them. And I look,
And just to
yes.
get it up somehow so that it can be viewed by people who
Yes.
are unable to come.
So we are going to be posting that we did take a video of the day performance because we knew there'd be fewer people and so less reverberation and less interference with the audio. So we are going to be posting that so that people who are unable to be there will be able to see it. I think right now Tom is working on a place card in the front that shares some of the information that I provided in the playbill, which the first graders helped me create. Those first graders did a great job with that. Again, the food program, beginning Food Explorers program has been great. You'll notice in the center here, they are writing the word Tangelo, and then they are drawing the interior of a Tangelo. So they're getting the chance to do the science aspect of it. As they move into kindergarten and first grade, they are writing sentences about either taste or feel or smell. So they're using their senses there, but they're actually required to write sentences about that, which is really nice academic challenge for them. Our Wednesday Food Explorers program has been extremely popular with the kids who have signed up for it. This was a tasting of different items for the 5 different types, the bitter, the sweet, the edamame, so the savory, I guess. On tomorrow's group, we'll be learning about bread making. We have yeast and all kinds of different things, and they will be doing some bread making tomorrow. So we are super excited about that. And last but not least, the Great Falls, actually it'll be Turner's Falls High School basketball teams, I believe, or winter sports to be specific, but they look like a lot of basketball insignias on those sweatshirts. Came over and did some reading with kindergarten, first and second grade, so I have some pictures of that. And the last thing I'm going to share about this is 2 items. One, building on our really incredibly popular math night, we now have science night coming up. It is a great opportunity for families to come and engage in science experiments that are going to be led by our teachers, talking about how science can be done in the home. and how they can help support their student in growing in science. So I'm hoping we'll see a big turnout on April 7th for that. And on March 31st, our MCAS window for ELA begins. In an effort to, and I'm sharing this with, hold on, sorry.
Our dancer's not here this week.
You've been here for so long with it staying
It
on.
really worked quite well for a while there. In an effort to help kids feel a little bit more invested and excited about the prospect of doing their very best work on an MCAS test, because we do know that people don't necessarily love the fact that we test students, but I try to explain that this is how the state looks at how we are successful. This year, all students who improve their score will be given a cup of water next September to throw at me. Any student who scores proficient on one test will be given a bowl of water to throw at me. And if you get proficient on 2 tests, you get an entire 5-gallon bucket of water to throw at me. We do have a couple of teachers who have indicated they would be happy to sit in a dunk tank to try to really augment kids' interests. Before the 6th grade worry that they're not included, they will be given an invitation to come back at the end of the day so that they too will be able to participate, because their day at Great Falls ends a little earlier than our day over here does. And for those of you wondering how a 3rd grader improves on something they've never done before, any student who gives their very best effort as assessed by the teacher who is proctoring them, even if they don't score proficient or meets on an MCAS test, they will still be given the cup of water for giving their very best effort. So we've got a lot of motivated students across many grades who seem pretty focused on throwing water at me, and I'm okay with that.
We will keep you all informed of when that occurs so that you can all
There'll
come
be
in.
many photos of
and-
that in a variety of places, is what I've heard. And so we have April 6th, we also have our school council. We will be doing a reviewing of our progress data, and we will be doing a review of our student handbook. And that is my entire photograph-driven presentation for the evening.
Thank you.
Any questions? Comments?
I have a comment. I was going to save this to the end, and it won't take long, but it seems to fit right in here.
Go for it.
With the indulgence of the board. My comment toward the end, or my question toward the end, was going to be what do we have for documented plans to increase proficiency on the different levels, where people read that towns and places are at 40 and 50%, which is, when you're going on a scale of 100, it's describing how much of a failure things are. So do we have a plan? Well, when I'm listening to you talk, to me, motivating the students, I made some notes as you went on, motivating the students, giving them an attitude of enjoy learning, some incentives to do it. Let's throw water, whatever it takes, okay? To me, you have a math night and a science night, but improving that grade level performance, proficiency is a goal I think we should have, whether it's a written plan or, as you've described, they're all working towards that. And hope is not an action plan, but I hope we end up this year, next year, and the next year see those proficiency levels improve. And it's not just me, I'm sure the parents do. And whether it's the taxpayers, the parents, or me, it's the students who are going to benefit by being more proficient and reaching those levels. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do have both action plans within the school that the teachers are working on around how we provide instruction. We have a lot more data, and that we've spent a lot of time this year digging into that data and really tailoring the type of instruction that we put into place for students. We changed the schedule to include a what I need block. So it's this win block where where different kids are just getting different instruction. So we've done a variety of behind the scene things that kids don't necessarily see or know. One of the things that I'm sure your son could talk to is that the 5th grade have done an enormous amount of writing. We looked at what the writing results were and across multiple grades last year and said this isn't what we expect our kids are capable of. And so we've spent an enormous amount of time this year really across all of our grades pushing writing forward. and how we communicate effectively. And we've done it in a way that kids understand that as adults, they are expected to be able to write for jobs. They are expected to be able to communicate why what they think is essential to a client, why what they think matters to a boss, why what they've been working on benefits the company they're working for. And so by giving them those contexts and then telling them that the skills we're teaching are going to help them to do that, we believe the quality of instruction is improving, but we want to partner that quality of instruction improvement to some motivation pieces.
It's not just me that
Oh, yes.
that's pleased that we have a principal, superintendent, and staff who are working towards this common goal of making things better. And for all the 10,000 people watching, as we keep saying, that we're not just going to wait till the end and say, gee, what happened? Yeah, and I'm pleased. However it turns out, I'm pleased that we're making an effort, a conscious, documented effort to do this stuff.
I think
Thank you.
to Beth's point, there's been some systemic things that high-performing districts have in place that just have not been in place, not just across the union. For one being benchmark assessments. And listen, I'm not someone who loves testing. I think sometimes we can test kids to death. However, you have to have some data to say, are kids learning, right? Because sometimes we can have a student they look attentive, but you have to see a work product. And we have a benchmark assessment now that's done 3 times a year, and we're able to see it's norm referenced. Are they on track to be proficient? And if they're not, we can't wait until we get the MCAS score to then say, oh, we got to do a rethink. We need to be able to make a mid-course correction and say, we're progress monitoring and this student is still not getting what they need in this area. What are we going to do differently? Because if you just keep doing the same thing and they didn't get it, you're just doing the same thing. You're going to get the same result. And so I think there's been some bigger pieces. The staff are really engaged in looking at, we have new curriculum. They've been very engaged in the professional development that has come as part of that PRISM grant that we got. I've been able to go to some of the professional development, and as much as we talk about students being motivated, the teachers are motivated. They're actively engaged. They're dialoguing with colleagues across their grade level and within their building. Because I think those are 2 pieces, right? You need to look at your grade level, and so to have those conversations with partners at other union schools about that grade level is great. But sometimes you have to look at the longitudinal data and say, well, where were they in this grade, and where, how do we do, with vertical alignment? And so all those things are in place. It doesn't happen overnight and easily, but the systems are in place and they're progressing. And I think that that's really important.
It doesn't happen overnight, but if you have no system in place, it doesn't happen
It
at all.
doesn't happen at all. Correct.
That's
Yeah,
great.
correct.
Good.
I think I'm glad that you brought that up, Dan. That was a really good question. I will say that I've had people stop me on the street, to your point about 10,000 people watching, that have watched on camera and have commented to me and asked about what the progress is, because they want the kids to succeed, and I have been less than happy with our scores the last couple of years. So I think these things being put into place, I think, are really encouraging. I'd love to hear how they're going, what kind of what you found,
Sure.
kind of how you've reacted to that, whatever it is that you found. Just kind of keep us updated too, just as a point of interest.
Sure.
So I'm glad that you asked that, Dan, or made that point. Okay, so we are up to the report from the Educational Association. I don't have a report.
So
for
they
you.
did link in.
Oh, they did? 'Cause
Yes,
last
it's
time-
LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Link in.
Last time I looked, there wasn't anything there.
There is not a report, but there is. We have one of our new business items is a recommendation for the calendar for next year. My office had sent out a survey around 3 questions that we were looking for. We had a really great response rate. We had 24 people from Erving respond. The Teachers Association wanted more in depth. They had some other questions, so they sent out an additional one, which they've linked in to this. I did not see it until it linked in.
Okay.
And so they had some questions, some of the things which are, relevant questions. Just, they have a question about blizzard bags. I would love if that were a thing. It's not a thing. We can't do it anymore to not make up snow days. But a lot of those questions are similar to the ones we were asking. And so they very graciously shared their results of that internal feedback.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'll say when I looked to review this a couple of days ago, there wasn't anything there, so I didn't go back and check again.
You say you can't use blizzard bags as an alternative to making
make
up a
up-
day, but can you still send
Well, you can
blizzard
always
bags
send
home?
work home. You can always send work home, but it can't be to make up a snow day. There was a time that the state piloted that,
Yeah, I remember.
but that is no longer a DESI approved practice. And they will not count it for making up days.
Right. Now, this report looks primarily like an administrative response, not something we need to take any action on.
No, I think they're just sharing it with you
Yep.
to
And this
Give
is
feedback.
for the entire union,
Nope, this is
just
just
Irving.
for Irving. Yeah, we did a similar survey. We asked 3 questions around the survey,
Okay.
and we asked it by each school. We didn't ask it as a union as a whole because every calendar, while there are some similarities because we have to be able to leverage professional development and the union 28 resources around, like the curriculum director, the superintendent, the director of student services, but not every calendar is exactly the same. It reflects their school's needs. But certain things like convocation the first day, it's got to be the same for everyone.
Sure. Okay. All right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So we're gonna move on. Do we have a report from PI? Okay. Budget and Personnel Committee. Do we have a next meeting date for the Budget and Personnel Committee?
They will not meet again until the fall for JSC. Is that the JSC Budget and Personnel Committee? I'm assuming.
Yes, yes,
They
yes.
They will probably not meet again until the fall.
Okay, we can go ahead and if you could
Take
just
it
let
off?
Robin know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to keep rehashing that.
Yeah.
The Joint Supervisory Committee, again, we just met yesterday. Actually, give me just half a second. Do you want to go ahead and do you have anything in particular you want to start with? I'm just going to pull up the agenda.
From yesterday?
Yeah.
Not particularly. I feel like it was, quick run meeting, a lot of chatter back and forth just about what the schools are up to and financial minutes and great superintendent report,
Yeah, so Shannon already shared a lot of what was shared at the JSC meeting. We did talk about your evaluation process, so we'll be moving through that. We did get an update from Caitlin about the Hampshire Trust. That's the health insurance that we have. The group that holds our health insurance. So that unfortunately is a significant increase to all of us. All of the towns that participate with it. As Caitlin had mentioned, we have one region, Swift River, right? Swift River, so they handle it slightly different because they're considered a regional school district. But either way, it's a huge impact to our budgets. It's going to mean different things, different, certainly a bigger cost and cost sharing, how that's going to work out, and so there's just it's quite a situation we have. Let's see, we've got one thing that Amy, our director of student support services, did talk about was she's working really hard to get our CPAC, which is our Special Education Parent Advisory Committee, together. And unfortunately, there's not been a lot of participation by parents. And so anytime you're out and about talking to parents, whether they're special education parents or not, if you could talk about the fact that we have this, it's called, again, CPAC, which is just the acronym for Special Education Parent Advisory Committee. And Amy runs it, and it's really a great opportunity for parents to kind of come together and not only learn new things, but also just kind of lean on each other and get tips and tricks from each other about, what's worked well with their students, what's worked well, in this situation, and just kind of a nice little community to have as kind of a place to lean on and share.
Support group.
A support group, yeah. So, anytime that we can help promote that is a great thing. Each school is supposed to have the CPAC. We, because of we're so small and there's so low parent participation, we've been trying to do it as a kind of like a union CPAC. And even then, we still are. Amy's still getting very, very low participation. So anything we can do to help support that and let parents know that it's actually a really good thing and a great asset.
And it's not just for special education. Like, granted, yes, it is CPAC,
Right.
but it's not just for special education students and parents. Like, everybody can go and help with your kids handling their friends at school and help it. Like, it's there for a resource for everybody, not just special education parents.
I would agree, and I would further it by saying, everybody has something. So even if you're not, have a diagnosis, you can always find tips and tricks, or you can always learn something about yourself, about your parenting style, about your children, how to, just manage the world with all we've got going on. So, yeah, that's why I would encourage anybody to come, reach out to Amy if you don't know when the meetings are. But if we also could just continue to kind of shed some light on that, I think it would be really helpful. Our next meeting for the Joint Supervisory Committee is May 18th online. So,
Can I comment on your CPAC thing there? And this is just from my personal experience, and you mentioned with all we've got going on, everybody has a ton of stuff going on in their families, work, rent, pay, whatever the bills are, and it's to me, it's not only for a parent who feels like, gee, I need some help with something or other. You go to these things, and it's just been my experience that the students of parents who participate in things do much better. The students who have parents who stay home, they never go watch a basketball game or nothing. They send their kids to school and figure they're going to learn at school. The students of parents who stay home and don't participate, typically, in my experience, I think, don't do as well as students of parents who just show up here or there for whatever the reason. So even if a parent doesn't think they need a whole lot of help, if I go in there, they'll pick up some little tidbit that'll help their kids, maybe inadvertently. So it's just a comment.
yeah, I mean, it's just another way to build a community, right?
And bringing the kids. I mean, my kids were running around over there just, last meeting, bring the kids to those events, bring the kids to CPAC meetings, bring them to pie meetings.
Actually, they're welcome. So it's one of those great things where,
bring them,
it's
kids are
not
meant to
allowed.
laugh and be loud sometimes.
Yep. All right. All right. So we do not on our agenda have any old business. We already talked about a bit about the not a bit. We talked about the truck. So the next on the agenda for new business is our academic
We
calendar.
actually have to vote on the
April
meeting
meeting.
because it falls during April vacation, right under new business.
Oh, gosh, thank you. I just read right over that. I apologize. So, sorry, we do have some, another new business, which is correct. Our April meeting, usually our school committee meetings are the third Tuesday of the month. That falls on our school vacation. So just like February vacation, we just need to pick another day to have that meeting. We can either go before, we can go after, we can pick another day in the week if Tuesday before or after doesn't work. So if everybody could just take a minute and look at their calendars.
April vacation is from when to when?
The 20th to the 24th.
So again, our normally scheduled meeting would have been on the 21st, but that falls right on April vacation.
I would like to propose the 28th.
So that's the week after we would normally have it. I'm fine with that. How does that fit in with your schedules?
Well, I don't have anything else here yet.
I mean,
Sorry to interrupt, but we have voice from the front.
Absolutely.
What's
On
that?
the 28th.
If you, we could maybe make it work, but if the 14th would be an option.
Okay, and again, we could veer off the Tuesday as well if we need to. It's an unusual, date anyways. So if Tuesdays don't work for people, we could do it a different day, if necessary.
No, if the 14th works for you guys, I can rearrange.
You could do the 14th if other people.
The 14th would be, I could make either work, would be my preference only because Leverett has their literacy night on the 28th, and I would like to go to that, but I would attend this if that's where you chose.
Okay, Beth, how's the 14th looking for you? And Mark and Dan, I didn't hear.
I'm fine.
I'm good with it.
Should not be an issue for me as well. There's a CPAC event, but it should be over by 4:15.
It's over at 4:50.
So that would be okay.
Okay. Oh, great. So, the April 14th, is that the next CPAC meeting?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so great. We can highlight that, right? 3 to 4, right?
3:15 to 4:15.
3:15 to 4:15. I remember.
And where's that one? That one
Right here.
Is that
Oh,
one
Irving.
there?
No.
Yep.
Oh,
CPAC Irving on April 14th.
They're going to be each school's going to have their own on that.
It's
one.
going to have their own.
Oh,
on that
oh,
month.
okay,
So that
okay,
is
okay.
Irving's.
Okay.
So
all right. That's why I remember her talking about it, and I didn't
Yeah.
remember her saying Irving.
yeah,
Okay.
in April she
That's
was
why.
going to do each school independently.
Gotcha. Okay, so even better. That's perfect. Now we can advertise that. So, okay, so let's go ahead then and we'll set our April meeting to April 14th at 7 p.m. We'll do the budget and personnel before that at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, okay.
You're gonna do budget and personnel, but not policy.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Policy.
budget and personnel. I meant policy.
Got it.
I apologize. I meant policy. Okay, perfect. Now we can move on. Thank you for catching that. To the calendar. So every year we vote on the school calendar for the following year. You have it linked in your, or in paper form as well, to look at.
Probably on an app on your phone.
What, this calendar?
It's
Just
pretty,
give me
there's
a hard
not a
time.
lot of changes from the typical format. The one thing I will point out is we are actually, Labor Day is the latest it can ever be. And so we are actually, last year we started school on the 25th with Teachers of August, in August. This year we're starting on the 24th, so it's not a lot earlier, but it is 2 weeks before Labor Day. But to push it to the week after, we felt was getting far too late into June when we add snow days in. So, and overwhelmingly, when we shared this with staff, that was one of the questions that we asked about it. The staff overwhelmingly, not all, but wanted to come back on, they would rather be here on the 24th of August than at the end of June.
And that puts our last day at the 18th.
That puts our last day at the 18th.
That includes the snow days.
Well, that includes this, that includes 5 snows.
the 11th.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard. Having the thing down at the bottom is just a little.
The 18th is
Is
bold
Juneteenth.
because that would be when Juneteenth is observed.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The 21st, if we had 5 snow days, would be the last day of school.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. I see that now.
Hopefully next winter is not.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
How do we stand on snow days this year?
We've had 4 delays and 4 snow days.
4 snow days.
And that's gonna push. Yet, are we within our?
Oh yeah,
Calendar.
we're well within the window. The eastern part of the state is creeping up and have actually applied for waivers, and the commissioner has said if you have used all your snow days and you are still in school after June 26th and you've met your hours, he will consider a waiver.
Really? They're not
Wow.
asking them to reduce April vacation?
No, not
Wow.
if they're at their hours. If they're not at their hours, then they have to make a different plan.
Okay.
Because although we count in days,
Really
DESI
hours.
really counts in hours, and so so we're in good shape here. But it has been a winter, and A lot of snow, a lot of delays. Maybe a delay that we didn't call that we should have. You know, you always second guess that, but yes, this has been. I'm glad it was not
So-
my first year that this was like this. I would
For
have
the
been
sake of moving
overwhelmed.
things along, I move that we accept the
I love
calendar
that.
for next year. As a motion.
I second it.
Any,
The only thing oh, never mind, I do see it. Boy, it's just I just have to get used to reading it this way.
I feel like the double bold is throwing me a little bit.
What?
The I don't know. I'm trying to find the highlightness, and just it's not as pretty as my brain wants it to be.
Yeah, it's just
there
it's
it
just a
is.
different format
I
from
just
what
enlarged it,
from
and
what
that
I'm
makes it
used to.
stand out better. But
Um,
you can't do that on a piece of paper.
Forgot my highlighters. That would work perfectly.
This is how you,
Sorry.
this is how you zoom
This
in.
is how I zoom in.
Yeah. we do have a motion and a second, right? Somebody did second.
Yes, I second it.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, any further discussion? Nope. Okay. So, all those in favor? Aye. Beth, are you going to be? Are you thinking about, or do you want to be thinking about adding your curriculum nights to this calendar?
I will be working on that with the staff, and we'll be working on that in May so that it will get added, yes. When it
Okay.
gets sent out and shared with the families, and it'll get updated on the website as well. Because
Okay.
the intention is similar to last year. I want to give staff an opportunity to have their voice in which topic they pick.
Sure.
Or at least they get a couple. They get to vote on all the options. So that I try very hard to give them either a first or second choice.
Yeah.
And then we talk about, well, it's the goal is again going to be to have something every month, and so it's either in collaboration with the library and trying to continue the outreach to families and supporting our families there, or it's having something here. So, and we will try to stick to, I think, Tuesdays again, just so we have a consistent day. So yes, the intention will be to include when those are happening.
Okay. Yeah, I in no way do I want to, clutter it with everything, because there's always a lot going on, but I think those main things that we really want to make sure parents are coming to, it's always helpful to me if they're all on kind of one document or one thing that I can hang up.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. All right. So, we do have a policy to review. Is our final vote on our non-discrimination policy, including harassment and retaliation.
I move we accept policy AC.
And the policy committee has not changed anything from the last
No.
few times. Okay. Just to be sure I didn't miss
I
anything.
will second that and just state that the only thing that changed is there's a new there's just cross references and it has been edited in the policy.
Okay.
But
All
no
right.
change since it's
No
come to
change.
here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, did we have a motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You guys are doing it so fast, I'm mixing it. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Great. Okay. So we did talk about our, again, I'll remind everybody, our April meeting will be on April 14th. The policy meeting will be at 6:30. The school committee meeting will be at 7. That is a change from our typical schedule due to the April vacation. Is there anything else that we need to be discussing before we adjourn? Okay. So, seeing nothing, we are at the end of our agenda. So,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
wonderful. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody that tuned in and everybody that came.
We got up to 11 at one point.
Woo woo.